Hello students, welcome to the session. I am Mr. M.H. Mota, Assistant Professor, Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering. This session is on stone masonry. The outcome of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to understand and explain various aspects of stone masonry. Masonry is the building of structures from individual units laid in and brought together by mortar. Mortar is nothing but the binding material, which is a combination of different binders like lime and cement along with the specially graded sand and water. When we use the stones to construct the structure of building, it is termed as stone masonry. These are generally load-bearing masonry walls. The stone masonry exists in our society since ages, particularly in India. Some classical examples of stone masonry in India consist of different famous temples and tombs, such as Sun Temple, Hawa Mahal, Sanchi Stoop and Taj Mahal. Some classical examples across the world in which the stone masonry is used or in which the stone is used predominantly consist of the Crest of Redmire, the Great Wall of China, the Big Ben in UK, the Colosseum, etc. So the general principles used in the stone masonry consist of following things. The stones to be used for stone masonry should be hard, tough and durable. The stone should be perfectly dressed as per the requirement. Perfectly dressed means they should be finished to a certain acceptable size and shape. The pressure acting on stones should be vertical, as the stones are very good in taking compression. The mortar to be used should be of very good quality. It should consist of different binding materials, sand and water in an appropriate percentage or in appropriate manner. As far as possible, the broken stones or small stone chips should not be used in a construction of a stone masonry wall. The properly weighted stones should be used to avoid mortar moisture being sucked. As we know, the mortar consists of good amount of water, and if that water has been sucked by the stone, the strength of such mortar will be reduced and the joints will be inferior. That's why before using the water's application on stone is must, or stone should be appropriately weighted. The heads and bond stones should not be of dumbbell shape. The bond stone means the stones which are majorly responsible for forming the bonds. The joints must be maintained of more or less uniform in thickness to its minimum norm, and proper bond should be maintained throughout for alternate courses, particularly in case of ashlar masonry. The large flat stones should be used below the seat of girders, trusses for distribution of point load on a wider cross section of walls. Along with this, the construction of stone masonry should be raised uniformly. The whole wall should be raised uniformly. It should not happen that on a certain side the wall has been constructed with a higher speed and has achieved a higher elevation as compared to other part of this. This has to be lifted uniformly. The plumb bob should be used to check the verticality of erected wall. The stone masonry section should always be designed to take compression and not the tensile stresses. The masonry work should be properly cured after the completion of work for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. The curing means once again the application of water onto the finished work as such. The double scaffolding should be used for working at higher elevations. The masonry hearting should be properly packed with mortar and chips if necessary to avoid hollows. If at all there is a certain hollow space has been created in a core part of this wall, then it should be packed with mortar and small chips. It should not kept hollow as such. The different tools used for stone masonry. Stonemason use a wide variety of tools to handle and shape the stone blocks and slabs into a finished article. The different tools used consist of the mallets, chisels, metal straight edge, plug and feathers, bush hammer, levis for lifting the heavy rocks, point, pitching, tracer, chipper, angle grinder and diamond blades. Let's understand the different types of stones used in masonry work. As there are variety of stones available worldwide, the different types of stones used for different purposes. The majority of the stones used in stone masonry work includes the marble, granite, sandstone, slate, cast stone, decorative stones like dholpur, fieldstone, flagstone, gabions, dimension stone, limestone, etc. Now, how we will select the stone for stone masonry as such? So, this is an art to select the stone for a given work. The different things that has been included in the selection process are availability of the stones. Whenever we are planning any masonry work using stone, we must be aware about the availability of the stones. Stones selected should be majorly available as far as possible locally. If the stones are not available, then they needs to be imported from other parts and it is attracting a huge amount of cost. The handling of stone is not easy at all. Second is ease of working. When we are selecting a stone, it should be easy to work with. It should be easy to dress. It should be easy to handle and finish to a required size and shape. Third is appearance. Appearance is very critical part in selecting the stones for stone masonry, particularly in current era. The appearance is something which is basically a function of the structure that has been designed or planned. The appearance need for a structure like a temple is entirely different from the appearance of a residential structure. So, one must be very critical about selecting the stone according to the need of the appearance. Next is strength and stability. The strength and stability has got a considerable bearing in selecting of stones, particularly when we are using this for a load bearing walls. The strength of the stone selected must be very high. In case of higher rising building, the strength should be considerably high as compared to the structures which has got comparatively lower heights. Then the polishing characteristics. One of the major reason for selecting the stone is its appearance as discussed earlier, and there are very few number of stones which provides a very good finish in case of polishing. It is not even so easy to polish every type of stone. So polishing characteristics even needs to be understood very critically. Next is economy. As we know, every structure to be constructed has to be passed on the scale of economy, and stone is a material which is not economical in every case. It is very difficult to handle. It is even not easily available on every part of the world. So economy is very considerable thing while we are selecting the stone for a masonry. Next is durability. The stones used for any work must be durable enough so that it can serve the purpose. Now let's try to understand different types of stone masonry. Based on the arrangement of stones in the construction and degree of refinement in the surface finish, the stone masonry can be classified broadly into following two categories. One is rubble masonry and second is ashlar masonry. Rubble masonry is that category in which the stones used are either undressed or roughly dressed, which has got comparatively wider joints in it. Such masonry can be further subdivided into the types like uncoursed, coursed, random, dry and polygonal rubble masonry. Second type is ashlar masonry. This is the finest type of masonry in which perfectly dressed stones are used. Perfectly dressed means the stones are finished to a certain size and shape. This can be further subdivided as ashlar fine, ashlar rough, ashlar rock or quarry faced, ashlar facing, ashlar chamfered, ashlar block-in courses, etc. Let's discuss about the rubble masonry. In that, the first is uncoursed rubble masonry. This is the cheapest, roughest and poorest form of stone masonry. The stones used in this type of masonry very much vary in their shape and size and are directly obtained from quarry. They are hardly getting any finishing touch. The uncoursed rubble masonry can further divided into two subparts: uncoursed random rubble masonry and uncoursed squared rubble masonry. So let's discuss the uncoursed random rubble masonry. In this masonry, the weak corners and edges are removed with mason's hammer. Generally, bigger stone blocks are employed at quoins and jambs to increase the strength of masonry. These are the pictures of the uncoursed random rubble masonry, where the stones are placed without much finishing. They are not of same size, not of any particular shape. In the cross section, what we will find is that it consists of bond stones. Bond stones are the stones which generally runs across the thickness of wall. These are very essential for a stability of such wall. It even consists the hearting stones and backing and facing stones. Facing stones are the stones which are faced on the front side, and backing stones are the stones which are placed on the internal side of a wall. Next is uncoursed squared rubble. In this type, the stone blocks are made roughly square with hammer. Generally, facing stones are given hammer dressed finish, so it provides generally a better appearance as compared to the undressed or unfinished stones. Generally, the large stones are used as quoins. As far as possible, the use of chips in bedding is avoided. This particular picture represents the rubble masonry which is placed in terms of uncoursed square rubble. Once again, these facing stones have been finished into a certain acceptable shape and size, but they are not at all able to form the acceptable courses or the stones of uniform height, which will provide once again much better appearance. That is been achieved generally in ashlar masonry. Then comes the coursed random rubble masonry. This type of masonry is commonly used in the construction of low height walls of public buildings and residential buildings. The method of construction is same as previous, except that the courses are leveled having thickness of 30 to 45 cm. All these courses are not of same height, but still we are able to form the different courses as such. Courses means placing the stones of comparatively same height into a one horizontal layer. The stone of 5 to 20 cm size are used in each course. Header stones are allowed about regular interval in each course. Next is coursed rubble masonry built to regular course. In this type of stone masonry, the uniform height stones are used in horizontal layers which are not lesser than 13 cm in height. Generally, the stone beds are hammered or chiseled rest to a depth of at least 10 cm from the face. The stones are arranged in such a manner so that the vertical joints of two consecutive courses do not coincide with each other. This is the elevation of coursed rubble masonry, in which stones are fairly finished and having more or less very similar height as such. Next is polygonal rubble masonry. In this type of masonry, the stones are roughly traced to an irregular polygonal shape. The stones used should be so arranged as to avoid long vertical joints in a facework and to break joints as much as possible. The breaking of these vertical joints is very essential to achieve the stability. If there is a formation of continuous vertical joint, then the rubble masonry or any masonry becomes weaker and there are chances that it will fail through that particular vertical joint form. The small stone chips should not be used to support the stones on the facing. This is the elevation or the picture of the polygonal rubble masonry, in which the slightly finished surfaces of having a polygonal surface or polygonal shapes are used to have the masonry construction. Then the flint rubble masonry. Flint is a type of a sedimentary rock which is crystalline in nature. This type of masonry is used in the area where the flint is available in plenty. This has got comparatively much better appearance. The flint stones, varying in thickness of 8 to 15 cm, in height from 15 to 30 cm, are arranged in the facing in the form of coast or uncoursed rubble masonry. This is the picture or the elevation of the flint rubble masonry. Then last is dry rubble masonry. This type of masonry is used in the construction of retaining walls in agriculture land, pitching earthen dams and canal slopes in the form of random rubble masonry without any mortar. So in this masonry no mortar is used. That's why the name of this masonry is dry rubble masonry. This type of construction is cheapest and requires more skills in construction because there is no mortar used. So binding is something that needs to be achieved, or the stability needs to be achieved by proper placing of the stones. The hollow space left around stone should be tightly packed with smaller stone pieces. This is the picture of the dry rubble masonry, in which the stones are arranged such a way that it forms a wall and it retains something on its one side. Next is ashlar masonry. Is the finest type of masonry. The first type is ashlar fine. This is the finest type of masonry. Perfectly dressed stones are used in this ashlar fine masonry. The height of courses is never less than 30 cm and generally all courses are kept of same height. The stones are generally laid as header and stretcher alternatively. Header and stretcher means the longer side of the stone when kept parallel to the length of a wall, then it is called as an stretcher, or if it has been placed such a way that its longer side is perpendicular to the direction of the wall, then it is called as an header course. The bed and side joints of this type of work should never exceed 5 mm in thickness. Next is ashlar rough. In this type, the exposed face should have a fine chisel drafting. The thickness of mortar joints generally does not exceed 6 mm. The sides, angle, edges, etc. are maintained in order similar to that of dressed ashlar. But here, the height of the courses are not similar. They can be of varying height and even of smaller than 30 cm in each height or each layer. Next is the ashlar chamfered. In this type of masonry, the beds and sides are finely chiseled rest, but the face is made rough by means of certain tool. A strip about 25 mm wide and made by means of chisel is provided around the perimeter of rough dressed face of each stone, but it is chamfered at an angle of 45 degrees. This gives a very good appearance as shown in the figure. Next is ashlar facing. It is a type of stone masonry which even comes under the combined masonry type. The ashlar facing masonry is provided along with brick or concrete block masonry to give better appearance. In this, the stone masonry is generally placed on the outer side of wall for the appropriate appearance. On other hand, internally the wall has been finished with the help of brick or concrete blocks so that internally much smoother surface can be achieved. In this, the face stones are rough tooled. Height of stone should not be less than 20 cm in this type of masonry. Backing is made up of brick and concrete as explained earlier. The figure placed aside denotes the cross section of the masonry. So that's it for this session. Let's meet in the next session to learn more. Thank you for your patience learning. Thank you for having me, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.